Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cora Robinson, and I'm excited to be your Get Fit host this year. Our annual Get Fit Challenge, sponsored by Kaiser Permanente, is all about developing healthy habits, taking time out of your day for fitness, and making friends along the way. We're excited to continue our challenge today with chamber member and founder and CEO of Passion Fit, Rena Bacone. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Cora. It's great to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. Why don't you get us started just by telling us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yeah, so I'm the founder and CEO of Passion Fit, which is a consumer and corporate health and wellness company based right here in San Diego. And the mission of the company is to empower women to flourish both personally and professionally through wellness. But we also serve individuals, companies, nonprofits, universities, schools, and the media in the areas of fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, and work-life balance. So we have lots of different products, services, and content to help people live healthier and happier lives.
Very cool. Yeah, it sounds like you have a ton of information to share with us today. So we're excited to hop into it. We're eager to hear about all the ways that fitness, nutrition, and mindfulness can work together to create what we're calling a wellness trifecta. So you can tell me a little bit about that and what that means?
Yeah, so I love to use the term the wellness trifecta because these are three really critical elements of wellness. They really focus on your physical and your mental health, and having that more holistic approach is going to allow you to make long-term changes in your life. So obviously with fitness, I'll start with FIT, in honor of Get Fit San Diego, moving your body, being able to find activities that you enjoy, being active, whether it's outside, in the gym, gardening, walking. It doesn't have to be typical workouts and grueling boot camp sessions. It can be whatever you enjoy. Yoga is another great part of fitness and getting fit. So finding ways to move your body on a daily basis. Generally, it is recommended to spend 150 minutes per week if you're doing more moderate activity, 75 minutes per week if you're doing more rigorous activity, according to the American Heart Association. And that's just to keep you fit and healthy. Nutrition is another part of the wellness trifecta. So really being conscious of eating whole and natural foods, putting healthy fruits and vegetables into your body, shopping organic, eating lean proteins and meats, healthy fats, things of that nature, avoiding more of the processed foods, high sugar, high sodium foods, because what you put into your body is also equally important for your physical wellness, and it also impacts how you feel and function as well. And then mindfulness is just being able to be, self-aware of how you're feeling on a daily basis and how you're managing your stress and what your moods are like. And there's so many different ways to practice mindfulness. That can include things like meditation, yoga, deep breathing exercises, getting outside in nature, listening to good music, and just finding ways to reduce stress and get yourself centered and calm on a daily basis. So those are the three prongs of the wellness trifecta, and I think they all can really serve us well, and they all go hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to working these healthy habits into our lives, it's a lot, right?
Yes,
it can be challenging, it can feel daunting, but once you get started, what are your tips about staying consistent, keeping it going?
Yeah, so consistency can be hard for many people. And that's why I love the Get Fit Challenge, because it's encouraging people for a specific period of time to adopt these healthy behaviors. I'm certified in nutrition, fitness, and behavior change and mindfulness. And so with behavior change, you do want to focus on taking one small step at a time. So picking, maybe you start with nutrition, or maybe if fitness is your thing, or stress management and mindfulness is your thing. Pick one thing to start with, and then really figure out how to make that a priority in your day-to-day life, and do it in a way that's sustainable and easy for you. So the prioritization is important, and keeping it simple and realistic is important. There are other things you can do. Maybe you put it in your calendar. I know for myself, and what I recommend to my clients is put those wellness activities into your calendar so that they're just as important as a work meeting, or picking up your kids from school, or going to the doctor for your checkup. When you prioritize them and calendar them in, you're more likely to participate in those activities. And then I would also say find a community. Community support is huge. Obviously, that's what this Get Fit Challenge is all about. And having those accountability partners so that you are showing up for yourself first and foremost, but you're also showing up for all those other people that are also depending on you to be there, so that you can all make these changes together. Again, it's not easy, but I think when you do have that community and support and you're prioritizing it, you're putting it in your calendar and you're making it simple so that you're not overwhelmed by trying to make 5 or 6 different changes at once, you're more likely to stick to that change, and then you can add another change and another change. So even though we're talking today about the wellness trifecta, I wouldn't say to try to tackle all 3 areas at once. Definitely start with one at a time.
Sure, yeah. So with that in mind, out of the 3, nutrition, mindfulness, and fitness, which part of the wellness trifecta do you think is most important to maintain a healthy lifestyle? So it's not to say this is the only thing you do. Like I only practice mindfulness.
Right.
But which one do you think is almost like a cornerstone of this trifecta?
Yeah, I mean, I think all 3 are equally important, right, for different elements of your physical and your mental health. But I would say if you can start with the mindfulness piece, and with that, it's also just your mindset, right? Really putting yourself in a position of, okay, I'm ready to really focus on my health and well-being. I want to make some changes in my life, or I want to keep things going that are going well, right? A lot of us have areas that we already are healthy in, so you want to do more of that. So I think once you have the mindset and you are being mindful and self-aware, then you have the ability to focus on the nutrition and how you're eating and what types of meals you're preparing for yourself and your family, as well as the fitness part, getting that daily movement in. So I would say start with the mindset and the mindfulness piece, because when you start with your mind and you're mentally aware and feeling strong, then you're going to be able to make those physical changes as well.
Sure, yeah. And then as far as mindfulness, can you just give us some examples of ways that maybe you implement that into your life, or tips that you give clients?
Absolutely. So with mindfulness, again, I always like to tell my clients to start with something that is going to be exciting and fun for you. I know mindfulness doesn't always sound exciting and fun for everyone. Meditation, I think, can be very intimidating for a lot of people because it's hard to sit and concentrate in silence for a period of time, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be meditation. Mindfulness is more broad than that. Meditation is a form of mindfulness, but I would say start with something as simple as just focusing on your breath, right? Even 5 minutes a day, research has shown that that can be very effective. So just taking some deep diaphragmatic breaths, for a few minutes every day, where you inhale through your nose, you expand your diaphragm and your belly out, and then you exhale through your nose or mouth and pull your belly back in. So rather than taking more shallow breaths in the chest, that deep diaphragmatic breathing, honestly, with 1 or 2 breaths, you will instantly feel different in terms of a sense of calmness in your mind and in your body. So that's one that I always encourage my clients to do, is just start with your breath, right? That's easy. It's something that's vital to our being, and it's a really great place to start. But you could also incorporate it into your day-to-day life. So if you are somebody who does like to work out at the gym, I teach fitness and dance and yoga classes Monday through Friday. And at the end of every one of my classes, I do a little bit of a mindfulness session. So it's breathing, it's, that self-awareness, and then we stretch the body. So you can incorporate it into your workout, just as I do for my students in my classes, or you could incorporate it into a daily walk, or just time outside sitting on your porch or going to the beach. So I think it's finding what works for you. It just has to be a few minutes of your day. It doesn't have to be these long, drawn out sessions that I think can get daunting for people, because we all are busy and we don't always have a lot of time. But it's also something you can do in your daily activities. So if you're cooking, you can focus on, you're just being very mindful and aware of what you're doing, the smells of the food and the sounds of, cooking vegetables, in a pan or whatever it is. So that's another way to do it. Or if you're standing in line at the DMV or you're driving your car, you can practice those breaths or put on calming music as well. So my advice is just to incorporate it into your daily life and find ways that you can enjoy it so that you'll look forward to it and be more likely to do it time and time again.
Definitely, yeah. And I hear all of this and it all sounds so good, but I know that there's someone out there who's listening in and they're just feeling discouraged in their wellness journey. And they're thinking like, yeah, one thing at a time, but is that enough? And so they're not necessarily feeling empowered to make these big changes. So what kind of encouragement would you give them to sort of take that step out? We know one thing at a time, but how do we even get there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I want to say to anybody out there who's listening, you're not alone. I think everybody goes through, even those of us who work in the field or who are enthusiasts of health and wellness, we have our days too, where you're feeling discouraged, you're just feeling like giving up, right, on your goals, and it just doesn't seem as likely. So, what I would say to all of us, because we're all in this together and we all as humans face those days, is to go back to your why. Why are you doing this, right? Well, how is it going to make you feel? How is it going to positively impact your life? And I think when you go back to the fundamentals of why this can help you, then it will help you to, figure out what you can do to get over that barrier and, get over that hump. And also just expect that you're going to have those days. Be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, and know that even if you're having a bad day where you don't feel like exercising or eating healthy or practicing mindfulness, okay, just say, you know what, I'm going to start again tomorrow. I think the best thing you can do is just know that tomorrow will be a new day versus quitting altogether if you have a day where it doesn't work out. So having the long view, understanding your why, and understanding how, when you do take these practices into consideration and put them into your daily life, how much better you'll feel. I often ask my students when I teach classes or even when I speak to companies and we do some breathing exercises, I tell them, I want you to take note of how you feel right now. And then once we do the activity, take note of how you feel afterward and remember that, so that the next time you don't feel motivated, when you remember how good you felt, maybe it was clear-headed, maybe it was more energetic, maybe you just felt a sense of calmness within you, whatever it is, if you remember that feeling, then hopefully you'll be motivated to try to obtain that feeling again through that activity.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so when we talk about the wellness trifecta, fitness, nutrition, and mindfulness, I guess another question I have is sort of the long term. What does that look like when we implement these practices into our daily lives? I guess I'm asking about the fulfillment that you find from being mindful, from practicing fitness, from practicing these daily habits.
Yeah, I think you want to think of it as not just a set of activities that you have to do every day, right? I think when you can incorporate it, as you said, into your daily life, it becomes a lifestyle. And when you practice that healthy lifestyle, you're going to see, hopefully positive changes within yourself, as we talked about, having more energy, maybe feeling more clear-headed. And, a lot of my work, the cornerstone of my work really is how wellness can help you personally and professionally. So I think when you are putting the wellness trifecta into practice, you're going to see positive changes, not only in your health and well-being, but other areas of your life as well. Maybe it's your relationships with your family and friends or significant other. Maybe it's within your career. You feel stronger, you feel more motivated, you're more productive. So you can excel at whatever you're doing in your career, or if you're a student, you might perform better on your tests at school when you're taking care of yourself. It can affect things like even your sleep. So other elements of health and well-being, when you eat well, you're managing your stress, you're exercising, you can get a good night's sleep. And that also will then allow you to do these things the next day and also, live your life more fully. So I think when you do this and you're in it for the long haul, because there's no quick fixes, right? This is something we have to really be committed to. But when it does become a part of your lifestyle, I think you will see that you're more fulfilled and hopefully can really impact your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health, and maybe even your spiritual health and your overall outlook on life.
Yeah, very cool. It seems like the influence is widespread when it comes to the way that these healthy habits can improve your life.
Right.
We've covered a lot and talked a lot about the wellness trifecta, how to use it. If you were to give everyone one piece of advice that they could take away from this, they didn't hear anything else, they just showed up, and it's the only thing they're going to hear today, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say to just break it down to one change at a time. So if there's an area of your life that needs more focus right now, maybe, you've been working a lot and traveling a lot and you haven't had the time for movement and exercise, then maybe focus on making that a priority. The weather is getting better, here in San Diego after we were talking about the kind of rough winter we had for San Diego standards. So, make that a priority to get outside and be active more if that's where you need attention. Or maybe, your doctor is telling you that you are pre-diabetic, or there's some other health issue that you are at risk for. So maybe you need to change your eating habits. So just focus on that. Or if you're, dealing with anxiety and stress, in the workplace, there have been a lot of layoffs and things. We've had this looming recession for a long time now. So if you're feeling that mental stress, then maybe that's what you want to tackle. So that would be my advice, is pick what is most pressing in your life when it does come to your health and well-being, and then pick something that you can enjoy so that you will be motivated to do it. And then just associate positive feelings. That's one of the cornerstones of behavior change, is that when you associate positive feelings towards a change you're making, that's what's going to motivate you to do it again. And then you associate those feelings again, and then you do it the next day and the next day. And research shows when you make a change and you do it over the period of 66 days, this was actually some research that was done at Stanford University from a PhD named BJ Fogg. And the research shows that when you do those things for a period of 66 days, which is just over 2 months, then it can become a part of your daily habits and your daily life. And then that's when you can tackle the next change and the next change. So just take it one step at a time, and, and find that community and that support.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, if anybody wants to find you, if anybody listening in today wants to connect with you, maybe talk about your services, what would be the best way to go about that?
Yeah, so I would suggest going to my website, passionfit.com, and you can sign up for my free newsletter. I share lots of tips on all those 3 areas of the wellness trifecta, in addition to things like sleep and productivity and kind of leading an overall healthy lifestyle. And then from there, you can connect to my social media channels. PassionFit is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn as well, for anyone that's interested in corporate wellness support. And yeah, just let me know if I can help in any way. I'm always happy to help.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Rena. It was a pleasure to have you, and I appreciate you talking to us today about the wellness trifecta and how we can use it in our lives.
Thank you for having me, Cora. It's been an honor.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, everybody out there, I hope you have a great week, great rest of your Monday. Stay safe and get fit.